this vehicle before it becomes a bigger problem.
Well, what we saw a moment ago was the person sticking his hands out of the window as well. Here's another attempt at a pit maneuver. And again, this person is really just not allowing officers an opportunity to just go ahead and finish that
Da,
pit.
da, da,
A lot of
da.
times you'll see that pit in a turn, but we've now seen 2 efforts by LAPD to try to get this pit maneuver in place while the driver was just going straight forward. And Bruce, that's a little more difficult maneuver because the speeds aren't such.
They're trying to do a pit
he's
maneuver.
losing control, and there we just got another attempt there. So this is unusual in the sense that the way they're
Get his ass.
trying these pit maneuvers.
Yeah, the pit maneuver is a very aggressive maneuver. It's basically a controlled traffic accident where you want to hit the vehicle in the back quarter of it and hit it with such force that you spin it out.
Oh, he bounced right off his ass.
Disengage from the
Okay, try to get out that
So,
GMC.
The maneuver is very aggressive, and they're being very aggressive in this pursuit.
Well, and then another thing that you're talking about is this controlled traffic accident. You
don't know what to do.
Dismiss the danger it gives to the officer because you can notice when he hits, his vehicle loses control a little bit. So now we're underneath the park there. So we're going to see they come out the other side. They do. So the chase continues, and it looks like
it's gone.
End of the 10 freeway. So there's really nowhere to go. He was westbound, and so at some point it's going to end there in Santa Monica. He's going to be back on surface streets. Now, once this person gets on surface streets, and you see the arm hanging out the window, just very casually going about a drive. So we can.
How you going to do that after the cops? After clashing with the cops?
I'm trying to see if there's a second person in that vehicle in the passenger side, and it is possible there is, but I'm not at this point positive. The back windows seem to be tinted, so you can't really
swerve it
in there. Now we've got
swerve it, motherfucker.
And it looks like we are on, I'm assuming that is southbound PCH there. So off the freeway. Now we've got a stop
PCH. Oh, he stopped. He stopped. He's trolling?
Police officer run into him. Does seem as if it was that.
He tried to brake check him?
Again, this pickup driver now moving along here, and we are in Eyewitness News at 11:30. You're watching Eyewitness News at 11:30. We are in breaking news with a stolen pickup truck. Police are in pursuit. I'm Philip Palmer, and we are continuing to see this.
That's racist.
Bruce Thomas is joining us. And Bruce, I mean, again, there are so many things we don't know that officers are going to know in a chase like this. We've not seen excessive speed, but we have seen some reckless driving on the part of this person, which is putting the community at risk. But the part we don't know is one of those things that you were saying about we don't know why they are so aggressively trying to pit this guy and get him off the road. But now he's headed on a U-turn and just going right back in the direction that he came.
Going back?
Yeah, one of the things we saw last week in the pursuit that ended in Santa Monica is the sheer volume of pedestrians, tourists, people out and about. We're coming up to lunchtime. So even though his driving may not be that, dangerous, he is not following the rules of the road and endangering a lot of people's lives.
And so, again, now this is another moment of driving. So very quickly went across several lanes of traffic to possibly, maybe it's you don't want to get in his brain, but he's clearly trying to elude police. But going across the lanes of traffic, he could be under the influence as well. We've watched him just with his hands out the window, gesturing at authorities. So again, we are now on some surface streets, and he's running up into some traffic issues. So he's going through an intersection. We've watched him go against the light and against traffic, now putting the foot on it, and he's getting around some traffic. Again, more dangerous driving here with LAPD right behind him, picking up speed. We have that speed monitor says about 100, but I don't necessarily know if that's the case, but it certainly could be. But sometimes that's a little bit off given the helicopter. But we are back on the freeway. This would be 10 East. And this is where we picked it up earlier on, was when he was on the freeway and then drove all the way to Santa Monica and got off the freeway. So now you're starting to see some aggressive driving. And Bruce, again, now we're on the freeway. Does CHP some point get involved, or are they likely already monitoring this?
Yeah, they're already monitoring it through a mutual aid However, in this case, because they're on the freeway, I would think LAPD is going to hand it off to CHP as they have better resources to move as the pursuit moves along the 10 eastbound, transitioning different patrol stations.
So now we're looking at some speeds that are likely more accurate. And this person's around 100 miles an hour, very close, splitting the lanes, going through traffic, which is light, which allows him greater speed. But now we've exited the freeway on a frontage road, and we're going to see what happens here is he has to slow down very quickly. And now he is going to exit the freeway and rolling through and cutting off a couple of people in traffic. But again, now you're back into Pico Boulevard, 33rd Street. This is the Pico district here. And again, this is kind of what Bruce was talking about a moment ago. It's summer. People are going to be out and about. You're going to have tourists around. And this person at lunchtime driving very aggressively through downtown streets
local roads.
or streets here in the Pico district, trying to just get away from authorities in what has been reported as a stolen vehicle. A couple of pit maneuvers we've watched. And Bruce, what were you going to add just now?
I was just going to add that, the speeds they pick up on the freeway. However, you're not going to see a pit maneuver on the freeway because of the speeds. The other thing which presents a problem is the sheer weight and size of this vehicle. It's a pickup truck with a dual cab, so there's some weight to it, and it probably outweighs the police cars.
Well, and this is not going to be the typical pickup truck in what you're talking about. With the extended cab there is more weight and it's further back. You might find a lot of times with a pickup truck, there's nothing in the rear end, and it's very light, and it might be very easy to pit. But as you pointed out, this is going to be a bigger, heavier truck with weight distributed much more differently. And we don't necessarily know if there's something in the back because of the cover there. So when it comes to these pit maneuvers, and maybe why they're not effective right now, the slow speed mattered, the direction of the pickup truck just continuing to go straight mattered, and as you mentioned, Bruce, just the bulk of the vehicle. But this has been kind of the behavior, slowing down, getting a lay of the land, and then just moving on through. So it's not been aggressively going through intersections, but it's certainly been dangerous driving going through these intersections. And again, more gesturing as we kind of take a look at what this person is doing. And again, this has been wanted for a stolen vehicle, stolen truck pursuit.
Okay, hey, say hi to the chat. What's up, everybody?
And that is just, Bruce, sometimes.
Hola, amigo. Hola, muchacho el diablo.
Is so casual in their demeanor.
It's casual, man.
Just have to
it's California.
And expect this chase to continue for a while because they're not necessarily driving recklessly, but certainly dangerously.
Yeah, correct. The thing about when they're on the surface streets and you have a city agency or the county sheriff's pursuing them, they don't swap out vehicles like CHP does. And what I mean is that is the first vehicle is in the pursuit, stays there for a while. The second vehicle calls the pursuit to take the pressure off the first vehicle, and then they swap out. So the first vehicle may become the third or fourth, and they just move up the conga line. And that's just to keep the officers who are very focused and hyper alert on this, to give them a little bit of a break.
You would think that is just incredibly taxing. It is not that for this driver. He is not.
I know my camera's off. I gotta fix it.
Efforts, but yeah, you're right. When you're following somebody like this,
hey, was he scratching the car?
Maneuvers, that could be stressful. But
or he's chugging, chugga, choo choo. Wait 1 second. Can I fix this real quick?
Trying to get a better
Stupid
look
camera.
At him as we can. We don't know if there's more than one person in this vehicle, and we are looking at our map. Sky Map 7 says this is Pico and 11th in the Pico district, but he is basically serpentine moves many times.
Gotcha. Hold on. 300 people left,
and it's almost as if there's a measure of taunting going on here.
It's not working.
From this suspect to officers.
They don't want to come
on. Bruce, they just have to continue to do. They can't be bothered by that. They're just trying to find an opportunity to spin this out and be done with it.
Yeah, that's correct. They're looking for an equal
Emma don't want to turn on.
But we've seen the driver, he's got his hands out of the window. He's almost like dancing in the seat. Like you said, the word taunting. He's almost like, I'm doing this and I'm having fun.
Whatever.
And, that's another thing, too, which really gets the ire of not only the police that are chasing, but also citizens and pedestrians and other drivers who are caught up in this.
And Bruce, as we watch this, it's sometimes, you know, clearly we're watching silent video. We can't hear what's going on, but we have lights and sirens on the ground, right? So it'll in this circumstance for commuters in this area, they are likely aware as this pursuit approaches, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. With the lights and siren, you're not necessarily going to hear the siren right away, but you will see the lights when they're driving code 3, meaning the officers are driving code 3. So that alerts the pedestrians, the other drivers, and also having the helicopter up top, whether it be media and or police, is another tool to signify to people that, hey, there's something going on. You need to kind of pay attention to the road.
Mentally disturbed.
Well, you saw that one truck move out of the way just now because the pickup truck driver drove into oncoming traffic to avoid an intersection where people were waiting at a light and then turned in front of others. So it sounds as if we have a spike strip that has been put out in front. This person has been kind of in the same general area, which has given officers a chance to get in front. But Bruce, sometimes we've watched this person slow down. So it is the possibility that they too are on the lookout, knowing that officers might be ready to throw a spike strip. So we're going to be looking for that. How will we be able to identify? Would the officer try to hide the vehicle and then throw that out, or would they be right by their vehicle when they just get ready to throw out a spike strip?
Yeah, ideally, the officer has to, you know, he would use some sort of concealment, maybe hide.
I'm on It Can Melt Clips, guys. It Can Melt Clips if you're wondering about YouTube.
Area, and then deploy the spike strip by throwing it out into the street. But the other thing, too, about deploying the spike strip is it's inherently dangerous for the officer, too, because the suspect may see it coming and then may swerve and or do some other maneuvers, which are just putting, you know, lives in danger.
Now we see an aggressive move there, putting the gas on and accelerating away from the officers there for a moment. Not sure if that is what he was trying to avoid just now. Not really sure. But you're really seeing a lot of people concede the right-of-way to this person because, you know, with lights and siren, you are at an opportunity where at least people are aware of what's going on, because we saw it with pedestrians walking through the crosswalk just a moment ago. You saw them kind of hustle their way across, because this is pretty easy to see if you hear it around the block or something. It's not as if these sirens are quiet. So you start looking around, and in many cases, it does seem like people are not trying. Here's an intersection where he went right through against the light clearly. You saw that other pickup truck coming into the intersection stop. So that's the advantage of lights and sirens. But here we've got a really aggressive
he's flying now. He's flying.
In the turn lane, going through these and around these vehicles.
Where's it going? Oh, shit.
Towards 50 to 60
my camera was working.
as he's trying to.
Let me try adding a different one. Hold on.
Why all of a sudden this person has decided to accelerate? Now we're kind of going into turn lane through an intersection, upwards of 60 to 70 miles an hour in traffic. And so we're going to see what happens here as he approaches some congestion. You saw the LAPD helicopter go in through our camera there. So they're much lower than our helicopter, and they're able to really follow this person. But this guy has started to show some more aggressive moves and just speeding up. And that's the thing about that median in the middle. We saw him bounce up on that at one point earlier, but he doesn't have the chance to get into oncoming traffic in this particular part. It looks like Ocean Park Boulevard. And so he's pretty much on these two lanes and can't go over. And you kind of like that, right, Bruce? Or what is the thought when you get in a place like here where his options are limited?
Yeah,
now look. Sorry,
he jumped the curb
and pulls a U-turn. So there goes for that.
Yeah, but to your point, having a median like that is a good thing for a pursuit, because he can't cross over. And however, in this case, he just did.
And so now we have turned around. They were approaching Centinela, as I'm been given a note, but this looks like going back on Ocean Park Boulevard, and just in a position where he's just not conceding anything. And at some point, we haven't really seen another opportunity for LAP to give a pit maneuver. Is that one of those things after those first couple, Bruce, where they kind of get an idea as far as the weight of the vehicle? Is that almost like we're testing this thing on, or testing this vehicle and see what they can do?
Yeah, it's a heavier vehicle. It's not a small pickup truck. It's got some weight to it. And like you said earlier, we don't know what's in the back. Is it, tools, debris,
messed up everybody
equipment? We just don't know. But it's also a little higher lifted vehicle. So in order to get into it, you ideally want to hit the fender. But in this case, as you can see, when Air 7H,
that's working now.
They've done some damage to the rear of the vehicle, but just not enough to slow it down. And the driver is definitely taunting the chase.
Yeah, he taunting him. He don't give a shit.
We're at a situation that is dangerous for the officers, of course, because this guy has shown the willingness to try and stop and make them run into him. He has stopped.
Oh, he's taking. Oh, about you take off.
Protected by the car doors, but not really if he decides to back up. So this is one of those moments where it's very dangerous for the officers. Don't know. We really can't see from Air 7 what's in front. We don't know if there is something in front of him that has caused him to stop at this point. It does look as if there's nothing really in the way of traffic to have stopped him from going forward. Don't know if he's trying to make any kind of interaction with officers, but there's looks like there is less than lethal weapons as well as lethal potential.
Oh, he's taking off again. So he's trolling the motherfucker
again. And here we go. You know that doesn't mean that they can't continue to follow him because helicopters above him.
Oh no! Maybe he's scared for his life. Maybe it's trauma.
So when I say congested, the streets are.
We shouldn't be so judgmental. He could be struggling.
To be able to just get away in some neighborhood. But Bruce, that moment there just makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up when he stops like that, because he's shown no tendency to give up. And so for officers to be exposed,
yeah, they had my neck standing up.
That's somewhat
with excitement.
I would assume.
Yeah, he's not complying with any of the officers' requests. They're on the loudspeaker asking him to turn the motor off. Put your hands out of the window. In this case, he's
hands up, don't shoot.
But he's not complying, and he's stopping, allowing the officers to get right up on him. They get out to conduct their felony stop, and then just as they're in position to do so, he takes off again at a high rate of speed. So he's totally taunting the officers.
Well, and it looked almost as if he was talking to someone in what looked to be like a garbage truck. He stopped right beside him. I'm not sure if he had rolled his window down at that point, but now you're starting to put other people at risk. They're in danger, and they don't.
I guess it's mental health,
possibly, when this guy just stops and wants to engage with a bystander. But here we are again. This car, just before 11:30 is when we picked this up. This was a stolen truck pursuit, mostly on the west side of town. And it does appear for now that we've seen it's as if this driver is in this vehicle alone. We've seen several pit maneuver opportunities that they have tried. Were unable to get this vehicle to lose control, but you'll see some damage in the back. That is from the officers who had tried the pit maneuver, and you'll see a couple of them here on your right, because on your right is video. On your left, we're still trying to get our signal back there for a second, trying to get our camera back on top of this chase. But you see on the right the various times that LAPD has tried to stop this. Now, we were on the freeway at a time. We did not see CHP officers in this. And I say LAPD, here we look at, we might have another pit maneuver in there.
Oh, he pulled back, man. That was a good truck.
But you see, now you've gotten some real damage.
Like a rock. Oh, like a rock.
That would cause him to lose any kind of control of the vehicle.
Like a rock.
To the rear end, and nothing to the axle, nothing to the wheels. They had talked about possibly putting spike strips down.
That's determination, man. Half of motherfuckers had this determination he had. We could be somewhere in society.
In the sense that the tires don't immediately explode. It is a very
that's determination right there. Dedication, confidence.
Sometimes it's only one
structure
or one tire. And sometimes he will drive that vehicle all the way down.
Shit, I need a new car.
Right,
I might need a new
car.
car.
And then of course you've got fire risk. So now we see him driving into oncoming traffic again, into the turn lane. Whereas this is a 3-lane road. He's using that center lane as an opportunity to get around. So apparently, I'm getting word that he somehow was able to go around the spike strips, Bruce.
Wow,
and that's
somehow.
what I was talking about earlier with this person slowing down. He may see things coming, but he's driving in the bike lane and in the turn lane, and now looks to be turning right if this in Lincoln Boulevard. So now it does look like he is on Lincoln Boulevard, Bruce, and again, just continuing to maneuver.
Yeah, you saw the officers deploy the spike strip. They threw it out in the middle of the intersection. The suspect was driving at a slow enough speed that he recognized it or saw it and went around it. And then very quickly, the officers have to disengage the spike strip, pulling it out of that area so that pursuing police cars can then follow in the pursuit.
Well, and Bruce, that if you're trying to get your mind get our mind into somebody who is fleeing police, that might have been when he accelerated. He might have known. He saw the spike strip. As soon as he got around it, he accelerated. I don't know if he thinks he can elude capture. In many cases, here we go with another U-turn.
U-turn? He did a U-turn?
And so he is on Lincoln Boulevard now, heading back in the other
I thought he was going to turn down the street.
It was, no, that was westbound at Ocean. So Lincoln is a north-south road. So I'm going to assume that is heading southbound, maybe. I'm twisted around here, heading towards Kensington. Yeah, it is southbound, heading on Lincoln southbound. Bruce, I had a 50-50 shot at that. So apparently I got that part right. So again, you have multiple officers, and they have tried multiple pit maneuvers, and now here we go, hitting that road there, that culvert, and that's when you start to really worry with all these people around here. If he loses control of the vehicle, you're putting other people at risk when he hits some of those bumps.
Yeah, and he's clearly not obeying any traffic laws. I mean, he's going on the wrong side of the road. He's going in the turn lanes. He's blowing through intersections either at a high rate of speed or a low rate of speed. And there are pedestrians out and about as it is lunchtime now.
Well, I saw a cyclist a moment ago, and that was one of the things that was concerning to me, was because he's using the cyclist lane as well to pass traffic. But that move right there that he just did, Bruce, is one of the things that was bothersome to me or worrisome when they did have the stop and they got out with guns drawn. He has shown a willingness to try to make officers run into him. He will, when they get up close, he will slam on his brakes. Now, that is potentially to keep them at bay so that they can't do a pit maneuver, but it is also the possibility that he's just actually trying to get them to hit him. So now you have a woman pushing a stroller on the shoulder there, on the sidewalk, and this guy going through an intersection with traffic coming opposite of him. So that, again, just like you said, Bruce, this is the concern this time of day, this part of town, a person trying to get away from officers and accelerating away from them so frequently. You've got some real problems for bystanders. Not sure what just happened with our camera there, but we're going to try to get back up over it here in a second.
Computer.
Pick it up. You pick it up very quickly off to the left, Air 7, if you could see it. I believe it was off. We had it. And so now we're going to try to pick it up again.
Mama's love.
I do believe it wasn't. I think we kind of lost. I thought it was behind you guys.
No.
And
how are we going to lose a big truck like that?
And we're going to see if we can't figure this out here real quickly together. Again, a stolen pickup pursuit. You see LAPD's helicopter off to the left. They are probably following there. That might be. They might have. We do have him out again. Okay, so here we are. We're back on top of it. We lost him for just a second. Sorry about that. But again, this is a circumstance where he has stopped. Officers have guns drawn. They are right behind him. And now you look at the person backing up and backing away. So this is the terrifying part for commuters in the neighborhood. They see this. You've got guns pointed right at a person who is just simply on a commute. And so now this person opened his door. The suspect in this vehicle opened his door but shut it again. So now, again, these officers are very much at risk if he were to back up. So we're going to wait and see. So now he is going to pull away again, and officers are now going to have to get back in the vehicle and start driving. So just some tense moments here and there when this person in this stolen truck keeps taunting in the sense that he stops, and they don't know what's about to happen, Bruce. And it just is so concerning for the officers.
Yeah, I mean, he stopped the vehicle. He opened the door. He quickly closed it, as we saw. Then he was outside the window of the vehicle yelling at officers. As they're giving him commands, he was yelling something back. We're not sure. And then he just decided, you know what? I'll take off again. And that's how, and he's in the dangerous part, as you said, Philip, is he's in residential streets.
And now you've seen him go through an intersection again.
Still
people
going
needing
strong.
to stop. The person about to make a right turn stopped because they saw a long line of police officers. That's the one thing that is good for this, for the commuters, for people who might be going in a safe place and find themselves all of a sudden at risk. What we've seen from Air 7 is you have 3 or 4 ground officers in their cruisers right behind him. So if you see this coming, you might not know that the white truck is going to run into the intersection, but you see 4 or 5 vehicles, police officers, you know that something's up. And so that's been the good news, that we've seen commuters kind of stop. It does look like we're now on southbound Lincoln, and that is where this is. So again, now we're in the Venice area. And again, this is where people want to go. They will go to visit. They're tourists. They're in town, and they're wanting to go to Venice. And now you've got crosswalks and intersections, and so many different things. You see the 2 people here on the sidewalk. There's so many different things that can happen that we're really wanting this chase to end.
Multiple pit maneuvers.
It does seem as if LAPD is doing everything they can to try to get it to end. They've tried pit maneuvers. They've tried spike strips.
Spike strips,
the
dodged it.
spike strips that we've seen make an effort at, the suspect was able to get
finally got a
them,
decent
so was
chase, I
able to
guess.
move
Hopefully
around
nobody
them.
gets
Bruce, that's
hurt or
talking about
killed,
a moment ago,
but
whether they would be able to conceal themselves to get that
Mama
spike
6
strip out there, and it doesn't look like that's been the case. He's been able to spot them and avoid it.
Yeah, and they have to kind of, map out the area he's driving in. Has he hit the same street a few times? Is he in the same general area? So then they can
be a free man by tomorrow. Yeah,
pre-deployed in different positions with the spike strip to then deploy the spike strip. But in this pursuit, as opposed to other pursuits we've seen, LAPD is being very aggressive with the pit maneuvers, the spike strip. So it leads me to believe that this is not a pursuit that they're going to let go.
And he's again into the turn lanes, and an aggressive move there, weaving around people. He's at least on the proper side of the road. Again, we are at Lincoln, and it looks like Noita. So again, you've just got this stolen vehicle who just wasn't wanting to stop, and just trying to pick up on our Google Maps here to kind of see maybe where they might be able to start making some moves. Because, Bruce, in this circumstance, he's not really stayed in Santa Monica. He was in Santa Monica, and now he's over in Venice. And so a lot of times these chases they find themselves repeating the location, and that gives officers an opportunity to really get in front of it. But I haven't noticed this really staying in the same spot, so that presents different kind of challenges, correct?
That's correct. You want to deploy the spike strip, but he's not in the same area. The nice thing in a thing like this is you look at the street. It's a very wide street, multiple lanes, turn lanes, parking lanes.
That GMC, I can't lie, man.
This is another ideal.
I got a Chevy Blazer.
Oh no, here we got a
pedestrian. At least he's paying attention. Half his people on the phone.
Into the crosswalk.
He was about to one of the very few people paying attention when they cross a crosswalk.
Again, this person
and look, he's being a gentleman. The guy said, "Go ahead, man. No, you go, bro, you go." What a gentleman.
Bruce,
and they're painting him as a monster.
Lethal weapons. Does that come into an equation here with bystanders that you might use less than lethal instead of live ammunition, in the sense that you're not wanting to shoot across the vehicle into an area?
Well, you'll always have lethal weaponry, deadly force, backed up by less lethal. And that's a compliance tool they have.
Who's with me?
Ball rounds if he doesn't come out of the vehicle.
My HR staff.
A stun bag shotgun, an R1 round. That's to get compliance from the suspect. If he gets out of the vehicle and doesn't comply, then they can use those things and then come up on him and maybe use a taser or some sort of grappling or, type of move.
Oh, that's it? Yo, what's up with this? Oh, shit. Go, 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 go. Oh, shit. Is he high?
Bruce, I mean...
What the?
Daddy, I like when you scrambling and scraping for shit. I like that.
And he just came right back.
Is he low on gas?
Yeah, he came right at him. I was surprised.
Oh, somebody! Oh, he needs some milk.
Ideal spot to use the Arwen or the stun bag shotgun to hit him a few times with rounds to disable him to the point where he goes to the ground, and then they'll have to.
Yo, he came out and just started walking right up to the cops. Like, what the?
A very dangerous maneuver because
like, what's the problem?
Is he armed?
And then he ran back to the car.
And again,
he came back out. He came back out. He's up. He's walking on him.
It looks like.
Oh, they're taking his ass to the ground. Police brutality.
On the ground in the center divider, and the good news is it didn't appear as if he was armed. So the problem was we were kind of blocked by the trees, but he jumped out and got out of that. So Bruce, thank you very much. We are coming up to the end of Eyewitness News at 11 a.m. and the timing is such that this person is in custody. The chase is over. The stolen pickup pursuit has now ended, and it does look as if no bystanders were hurt. This suspect has been taken into custody, and you see the less than lethal weapon there put on the ground. So we will have the latest on this for Eyewitness News at 3 o'clock. I'm Philip Palmer. This has been Eyewitness News at 11 a.m. We'll see you later.
What the heezy?
It's time for GMA3.
First we've ever seen, but
never know what's going to happen.
That was the first.
Now
they're checking the car to see what else is in there or who else is in there. Hopefully nobody.
Yeah, it looks like.
I mean, what is this guy thinking?
I don't think he was.
He was.
Yep. Is he still fighting?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's mouthing off, fighting.
Yeah, he's going to say he's got an opinion, and he's definitely giving it to the officers. So,
well,
they're the ones who have the handcuffs.
Best ending it could be, nobody's hurt.
Yeah, seriously, the best possible outcome. Just, wow, that was different.
No two pursuits are the same.
No,
and
as you know,
when you think you've seen it all, you really haven't. Right? This is just wild.
Just the way he approached the officers, like completely fearless, like didn't care. They could have very well harmed him, but he walked right up to them and made contact.
The first punch.
Unbelievable.
And they were warning him, hands up, don't approach any further, stay put.
He's look.
Yeah, not listening, mouthing off, driving crazy. Well, good thing he's
checking him.
That's it. Yeah, he's off the road.
Well, it looks like no one was in that vehicle that he was in, so he was the only one.
I don't think there's anything else in there, right? Doesn't seem like there's anybody else.
No.
All right, Stu.
Hey. It was a good spotting Stu today, guys. I appreciate it.
Stu's got to be
All
well
right.
behaved.
Well, there you have it. Police pursuit of a stolen truck coming to an end. We were following this for what, like half hour almost? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Thankfully, no one was hurt in this, which took officers around.
That ending.
We didn't get to see
Santa
that.
Monica, Venice area, a slow pursuit where the driver, as you saw right there, being taken down, was taunting police the entire time, kind of on a joyride, total disregard for authority, and then coming out of his truck right there, approaching officers, look at this, and throwing the first punch.
Taunting right down until the very final seconds, too, right? Had his hands over his head and then decided to change it up and throw a punch at an officer.
Well, it was the second time he got out of the car. There was that one time during the pursuit he tried to approach them, right? And then quickly jumped back in and... there's no way to make sense of some of this stuff, I mean, obviously, I'm going to just put it, I feel as though he may be under the influence of something, as that behavior is...
That's right.
Just absolutely bizarre and reckless. All right, more on this and many other stories. Join us this evening, Fox 11 News.
All right, as you see there, thanks to the Fox 11 team for doing such a great job carrying that for us and allowing us to see what they had happening there live in Southern California. But officially, that police pursuit of a stolen truck there in Southern California coming to an end. Of course, this was a very dramatic scene. I want to show you, we still have the aerial images of that scene right now as the officers are doing some of the work. This is typically what happens after a pursuit like this ends. As you can see, suspect going into the car. Unfortunately, the chopper just zoomed out there, but they had just taken him into custody. But again, what we now know from our partners there at Fox 11, police were chasing a suspect in a stolen pickup truck in the West Los Angeles area. Now, look, all according to the LAPD, this pursuit began around 11:15 a.m. local time there. That's just about 2:15 p.m. on the East Coast. Now, this area, this chase took them all on the 405 and the 10 freeways as well. But that suspect was allegedly wanted for elder abuse as well. But again, we were just hearing a lot of information there from the Fox 11 team talking about several pit maneuvers that the LAPD had attempted before this officially came to an end. LAPD, though, we saw them there on camera detaining that suspect. But what I want to play for you, if you just are now joining us here on Live Now from Fox, this was the dramatic video footage that happened as they officially took that suspect down. Showing it there on your screen, you can see suspect walking out with his hands up.
Well, I'm glad they got him. I'm sorry I couldn't be on camera on YouTube. The way because I use two apps to stream, and so I think I launched the other one by accident first somehow, and so that took control of the camera. It took like precedence over the camera, I guess. And I would have had to shut everything down and start over again. I couldn't do that. So right now when I end the stream, I'll turn everything off and reopen it in the right order, and then leave everything there, I guess. For later or whatever. But it's been busy, man. I feel like I'm gonna have to do an email to everybody, people on the email list or something, or make a post with all the, because we've just done so much. I think sometimes it's hard for people to keep track. Because we jumped on early this morning. I had no notification, so some people don't know I did this live. And we talk about the CTF and the NFL stuff. Left a note, the shooter. Of course, most people probably saw yesterday. And then today on the Clips channel, we've been active. They actually released a note for the NYC shooter, and I did a bunch of updates yesterday on the mass stabbing stuff. So yeah, it's been really, really busy. But we had at least a decent chase, because it's been weeks, maybe even months since we've had a decent chase. I don't know. It's been kind of. I almost barely move when I see, oh, there's a chase. I barely move because I'm like, 70% of the time it feels like it's canceled. And then if it does get to where the helicopters catch up and stream it, then it's over in a couple minutes. So a lot of times it's not worth using up a notification on like the main channel. But yeah, I don't mind jumping on here, the Clips channel. And whatever. All right, guys. I guess I'll catch you later. I'm gonna head to the park for a little bit. We'll see what today brings. It's still very early. Yeah, everything happened crazy yesterday at the end of the day, like towards the evening time. Yesterday was crazy. You just never know what's gonna happen. All right, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye. Bloop, 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 bloop. That's a good truck, man. That truck is good. Damn. That GMC. I seen the Tahoe yesterday. The Tahoe looks nice, and there's another one that I saw that's kind of like a bigger vehicle that looks really nice. There's the Tahoe. Oh, the Traverse. The Traverse looks dope too. Ooh. But I'm trying to get to the point. I don't want to pay car payments anymore, man. I want to pay the car off and be done for a while. Unless I trade it in. It only has 11,000 miles, and then it's in the shop. They have some type of transmission problem. Only 11,000 miles on my Blazer. What the? Anyway, catch you later, guys. Bye. 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 Bloop, bloop.